समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So come to verse 14 and I read it first. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. I, having become the fire, Veshvanara, abide in the body of beings and associated with prana and apana, digest the fourfold food. Now, this is a great truth. It is a biological truth being propounded for you over here. And he says that he himself is the Veshvanara. Veshvanara is the digestive fire in the stomach that digests your food. So, usko Veshvanara कहते हैं. Now, over here, look what he's saying. He's saying, I am the Veshvanara. And he says bhutva praninam deham ashrita. So he says that the whole body of all the beings, prani, see anybody who breathes, जो प्राण अंदर खींचता है वो प्राणी, that is the thing of the name prani. Prani means any being who breathes. Okay, so pranapana samayukta, that means that he says that prana and apan, prana is the intake of stimuli and apana is the excretion from the body. All excretions from the body are apana, that which the body has utilized, and the roughage is being thrown out in any form from all the holes in your body. Roughage is thrown out, which the body doesn't require anymore. So here he said that is called apana, and prana is what you intake, all the stimuli that you intake, and the reaction of that stimuli is called apana. So I, having become the fire, Veshvanara, in the body of beings and associated with prana and apana, digest the fourfold food. Now, see, as I said last time to you, that involuntary movement of any part of the body, is what he says that he is the one who does it. Now, see, modern physiology uses this term, that involuntary movement, but science tells us that no movement is involuntary. There is a force behind anything for it to move, otherwise it cannot move. That we all know. It's a law of science, isn't it? So here, how can you say involuntary movement? The circulatory system of the blood, the digestive system which digests all your food of every sort and disintegrates it and reaches the nutrition to every part of the body wherever it is required. The blood, the bones, the heart, the pancreas, the liver, the this, the that, kidneys, flushing out, and then the excretion. Who does it all? If anybody is even a little intelligent, he will understand that there has to be a force behind it. And you can call it anything, call it life force, call it God, call it whatever you wish to call it, but there is a force, right? And that force is what he is saying, because Krishna here is not this blue boy of Vrindavan. Krishna is this particular reality of life, the consciousness, the awareness, the the ultimate reality, what there is. So he says, Aham Vaishva Naro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita, that your entire body is dependent on this life force. You see, now वही बात कि Gurudev used to say that he has created every cell in your body, he has created every vein in your body, he has he is the one who pumps life in your body, and even in the womb of the mother he is the one who looked after you. And then you think that once you are out, then you are in charge, or you can do it more intelligently than him. He is in charge right from your birth, right up to the time you die. It is not you, not you, not you. It is him, him, and him. Whether it's liver or it's kidney or it's the function of pancreas or the heart, he is controlling it. Even if you wish to, you cannot. A diabetic wants to be diabetic free. A cancer patient wants to be cancer free. Heart patient wants to be free of the heart disease. The who controls it? Not you. And doctors try their best to control it, and to an extent they can help out, but not really. Haven't you seen in the hospitals that doctors become helpless? So here it is just that. Now the digestive juices in the belly, the belly is hot, and it creates those digestive juices, acidic juices. They create the heat which digests your food ultimately. And he says that replenishes the body, turns it into vitality, energy, nutrition, and all the rest that you can think of. So the body, nothing happens automatically. You see, you say it happens automatically, but we know scientifically that nothing happens automatically. Now, another thing is that Gurudev used to say that don't overeat. You stuff yourself up to the tonsils and go to sleep. And there is you give him no time to play his flute. He's the whole time he's digesting your food, and he says that he knows that while you are sleeping, you are totally an incompetent fool, and you will not be able to digest even your food. So he digests it for you so that you can continue doing your foolishness next day. Okay, now here of course, these questions, any intelligent human being, Gurudev has written, will ask these questions. What makes the heart pump? And you cleverly seek behind the phrase involuntary action. No, no, it cannot be. The muscles and wall of the heart keep contracting and expanding, contracting and expanding. How? Even while you are deep sleep, they do it. I know I'm repeating, but I am repeating for it to sink into you that think about it, think about it. You're not even conscious that the heart is beating. You're not even conscious that you are breathing. Yeah. So, all these. So, who or what is doing it? And why is it happening? How can you call it involuntary action? Now he says that I digest the fourfold food. Now, what is the fourfold? Chaturvidham. He says Chaturvidham, that means 4 kinds of food he digests. The food that we humans eat or anybody eats is divided into 4 different categories, and the way of is one is masticating, chaba ke khana, the other one is swallowing, one is sucking, and the other is licking. So all food comes under these 4 categories. That is why he says Chatur Vidham. Now, the automatic wavy muscular of this organ, it contracts and relaxes and contracts and relaxes, and in a wavy sort of a movement, you put the food in your mouth. But what pushes it down? It is this involuntary movement that pushes the food down for you. So he is, of course, the Lord says, I will do it for you, I will do it for you. Every action that you think, he says, I will do it for you. Gurudev used to give the example of a small girl who बचपन में नहीं खेलते. I'm mummy, I'm making rotis in the kitchen. Hmm? And that girl is making rotis, pretending to make rotis, and it's a make believe. And the father and mother pretend to enjoy it, and they also make her feel that yes, yes, she has cooked deliciously, and she is the one who's doing it. So, also, the Lord makes you believe that you are doing. Honestly, no matter what it is, the Lord makes you believe that you are doing. And just like the little girl, we are delighted. See, I did this. See, I did that. See, I did this. See, I did that. Gurudev used to give an example of Swami Chinmayananda writing a poem. And he says that, writing a poem which came to my mind, how did it come into my mind? I don't know. And then I am writing a poem, but the paper, the ink, and the pen, all three are arguing that I wrote it. Think. All three are arguing that I wrote it because the paper feels that without me it cannot be done, the ink feels without me it cannot be done, and the pen feels that it cannot be done without me. The real writer is Swami Chinmayananda. And all these are instruments. He is using the instruments to write the poem. Similarly, we are all instruments, and he is the one who is using us to. There is a design in the universe. A design is not made by him, the design is your own blueprint. What you want to do, how you want to do, but you are powerless to do it unless he provides you with the energy to do it. He provides you with the life force to do it, right? So you are instruments in the hands of the Lord. Okay. Now here, wait a minute, it is Pranapanasanapachammyanam Chaturvidham. Okay. Now, so ye ho gaya. Now, see, it is also, all this, please understand, we've done it before. That, the moon provides the nutrition, the sun provides the life, and all the scientific data that you have of how fruits and vegetables get their nutrition and their juices and how they grow and all the rest of it. But the raw material, all provided by the Lord, the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the wind, the earth, the nutrition, all provided by the Lord only. So then somebody went up and said, "Yeah, okay, Swamiji, but my vulgar thoughts are my own. So Swamiji said, even they, you will not even experience those thoughts without Narayana. The very fact that you are saying that you have thoughts, that you are conscious that you have thoughts, is him, because of him. Because of him. Yes, your instrument conditions your thought process, but the fact that you can even think is because of him. Okay, come to the next one now. All your actions are the expression of that divinity. Now he says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarverahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Now he has changed the meter of the verse, so he wants the student to sit up and notice. Any time that the teacher changes tone, he changes the tone only so that the student may not go to sleep. So every time if there is a teacher who's speaking monotonously, the word monotonous comes from monotone, without raising or dropping his voice, without showing any excitement, without showing calmness, without showing any depth. If the speaker is not a good orator, what happens to you? He becomes monotonous. Mono means single tone. Single tone. So henceforth boring. Here the teacher changes the meter. So this is a song. So the teacher is singing in a different way. So the student suddenly notices that something is coming up. Now, this verse, I'm reading the meaning. And I am seated in the hearts of all. From me are memory, knowledge, as well as their absence. I am verily that which has to be known in all the Vedas. I am indeed the author of the author of Vedanta, and the knower of the Vedas am I. Okay. Now, here in the commentaries that are on this verse, only 3 Vedas are listed because initially there were just 3. Atharva Veda has come in much later. So, in many of the commentaries on the Geeta, you will find that they talk only of the 3 Vedas over here. So, here, uh, see, all spiritual textbooks, even science, is trying to search the truth. What is the ultimate truth? Any spiritual textbook is trying that. Science is also trying that. It's a different matter that they have not discovered it. But they all agree that there is an underlying principle, there is everything. Uh, Gurudev used to say, understanding that there is this great grand reality, and you give credit to that great grand reality that it is doing everything for you, and be grateful for it, and go along with the will of this reality, life is beautiful. But for the foolish who do not understand this and who take it upon themselves that I am the doer, I am the doer, that karta bhav is the one that causes the tragedy in your life. Whenever you think you are in control, but you are not, and every time you try and you fail, it is that time that you feel miserable. So when he says that from me all this has come, so I am the author of these. See, if you say who is the author of the Vedas, there is no name given, there is no copyright. Anybody can read the Vedas. Anyone can pick up the Veda book and read it from where to where. They understand or they don't understand, but the authors have remained incognito. The authors did not even care to give their name because A, there was not one author. Vedas have been created over years and years by so many rishis and munis who were divinely inspired. And when they were divinely inspired, you see, it is that they are the ones who are he says that I am seated in the hearts of all. That means that this great grand truth, this great grand dynamic power is the one that makes all beings function, which we did in the last word. And he names 3 things. He says Smritir, Jnana, Apohanam. ये 3 हैं. There are 3 words in one word given over here. Smritir, Jnana, and Apohanam. Now, Smriti is memory, we all know. Jnana is knowledge. And Apohanam is forgetfulness, the absence of knowledge, or take it as absence of knowledge. Okay. Now then, forgetfulness or absence of knowledge. Now see, he says, I am memory. Okay. Can any dead man remember anything? No. What to talk of dead people? Even living people don't. Isn't it? So many times we struggle with our memory to remember something. Do we remember it? No. Huh? And many times Gurudev would have taught the same verse many times. And when he asked us to chant it, we were not able to chant it. The children in the camp Many children used to attend the camp, including mine. They would learn it immediately and they would chant it immediately. So they had more memory power. We had less memory power flowing through our mind. So memory, देखो ऐसा है कि knowledge also requires, you cannot gain any knowledge, you cannot sustain any knowledge, nor can you give out any knowledge without him. Yes, please try to understand that the power to attain knowledge is him. The knowledge itself is him. The power to retain is him. And the power to give out knowledge is also him. Unless he energizes you, you cannot do it. Now, the last thing, the absence, the consciousness or the forgetfulness. Don't you say that I don't remember? Don't you say that I have forgotten? How are you conscious that you have forgotten? How do you know that you do not know? Careful. How do you know that you do not know? How do you remember that you do not remember? How do you know that you do not remember? So, even the absence of things is illuminated in your mind by that grand power. The absence of memory, the absence of knowledge is also illuminated by him. And that is what he's saying over here, that all that you know or you don't know, or that you think that you have forgotten, you knew and now you have forgotten. Everything, look at the categories he gives over here. And he says that all these are me, and me. And that is why, you know, Gurudev used to say that selective forgetfulness is very, very important. Our total wisdom is past memory. When you say I am wise or that I have a lot of knowledge, how does that knowledge come in your mind? Memory. Memory of the past. If something in your brain knocks out the memory, all your knowledge is gone. Do you know people even forget to eat? How does one eat? They become like a child. Have you seen? Some people who lose their memory, they don't remember anything. They don't even remember their own name, leave aside anything. It's pathetic. It is really pathetic. Lately I met a lady in the park who lives across my house. She did not remember where she lives. When I met her, I greeted her. She says that मैं बहुत दूर से आती हूँ ना, तो इसलिए मैं थक जाती हूँ. I was really, it saddened me to think that she lives right across my house and she is saying कि मैं बहुत दूर से आती हूँ. Now what is that? That is absence of knowledge. But even this in her mind is enlivened by, illuminated by that power of life, that life principle. Otherwise, how will anybody remember or not remember? Nothing. So just try to think of this, कि ये ना इतना आसान नहीं है. It is a, see, the knower and the known, all illumined by him. Now, Gurudev used to say that learn to forget. That is the only way to grow, to progress in life. And the only way to stop becoming loony. He used the word. He used to say, the only way to stop becoming crazy is to forget the past. It doesn't mean go mad and don't remember your name, don't remember your father's name or mother's name. No, no, not that way. It is selective uh, memory loss. You choose that this thing I want to throw out of my mind. Never again will I think about it. Just out. It doesn't exist for me. It never existed for me. So even to try and remember some past happening which has troubled your mind, there are some people who go on storing past thoughts and past memories into their mind, and keep on becoming unhappy. That this one did this to me, that one did that to me, this one was unfair to me, so and so said this to me. How bad of someone to behave like this with me. What is the reality of all those thoughts? Think about it. And what is the purpose or use of those thoughts? A wise person has selective memory. He chooses to discard all from his mind that is meaningless, trash, and rubbish, which is serving no purpose to that person. Throw it out. Gurudev used to say, like you throw out garbage from your house every day, don't you? Because it is of no use to you. It will only create a bad odor in your household. So he says that you must. Wise wisdom is that no matter what you encounter, he used to say that every day throw it out of your mind. Every day throw out the rubbish, sift it. Anything that is useful to retain that. All the rest, this one said that and that one did this, throw it right out. It is of no purpose. And so new wisdom should apply that I am something which I was not. So learn to forget. Uh, hmm. Also, all the past regrets and the past guilt. Gurudev, again, I am quoting him again. He used to say that don't go on saying, "Oh, I am a big sinner, Swamiji. What will happen to me? I can never be redeemed." This very thought will obstruct you from redemption. The thought that I am a sinner, the thought that I have done something wrong, the thought that I have hurt people, the thought that I have done something unethical is the one that is holding you back. So discard the thought. Just fly free. All this memory and knowledge of past regrets and things you need to throw out. And in the light of new wisdom, act on and grow. So he says, I am indeed the author of Vedas. I told you how the Vedas, I am indeed the author of Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas. I am. Even the person who is reading the Veda, even the person who is propounding the Veda, can he do it without the Lord? Understanding of the Vedas is because he gives you the power to. Reading because he enlightens your eyes to see, your mind to retain, and your mouth to give out. So without him, nothing. So he is all. He is the Vedas, the writer of the Vedas, the reader of the Vedas, Atharva Veda, the knower of the Vedas. Everything is just him, right? So discrete forgetfulness, choice forgetfulness is the answer. And how he says that all is him, because you see, please understand, this is a very, very important point, a very, very important point. And that he says, everything is me, all education, all memory, all experiences. In short, he's saying that everything is just me, because unless you are aware of these, nothing exists. If awareness is not there, memory, knowledge, or the absence of knowledge cannot take place. So he is the light of lights. He is the light that makes you see, that makes you perceive, that makes you understand. Okay. Now, Gurudev used to say, even as I'm talking of forgetfulness, that the capacity to forget enables you to gain more knowledge. See, even in your cell phone, don't you have to empty out trash to create space for new things to come in? Same way is your mind. It is overloaded, then you give no ability to the mind to take in new wisdom. So it is the also understand that new wisdom can only come by discarding the old. You have seen many times in many families, the fathers keep telling the sons, I used to do this, so you can also do that. If it was good enough for me, it is good enough for you. No, it is not. The old patterns die out. The old patterns have to be replaced by new. Old experiences, old ways of thinking, old ways of behaving have to all go to give place to the new. If you don't do that, the new cannot come in. There is no place for new wisdom to arrive. So that is that. Okay. Now he talks that everything is me, as he says that I am the Vedas, I am the author of the Vedas, I am the Vedas, I am the writer of the Vedas, I am the knower of the Vedas, and I am the giving out person of the Vedas. It is a non dual immortal reality that he is pointing to, not Krishna, Krishna as such Krishna. So he is the substratum of all knowledge, whether it is memory or knowledge or even forgetfulness. He is the substratum of all that. Gurudev, again, his example, the white screen is the reality in a cinema hall. All that is projected in the cinema hall on the reel is not the reality. The reality is just the white screen. So when people are sitting in the hall, they are all looking only at the white screen. ठीक है ना? They are only looking at the screen. That is the reality of the matter, but they are not conscious of that. They only see the images, which is a hallucination, which is an illusion. They are not there actually. They are not there. That is what modern science is also saying today. It is an amazing thing. It is really, really amazing. But that is how it is. So now they say that, okay, how do you say that it is a nirguna brahma? एक phrase है ना अपने यहाँ निर्गुण ब्रह्म. How do you say that? When he says that he is this, he is this, he is this, he is this, he is talking of variety. तो आप ऐसे कैसे कह रहे हैं कि in him there is no variety? वो न निर्गुण है, ऐसा बोलते हैं ना. तो यहाँ तो खुद ही कह रहे हैं कि I am this and I am this and I am this and I am this. See, the equipment has the gunas and shows the different effects. The electricity is the same. Again and again and again, I give the same example. That is what creates the variety. Electricity is the same. The bulb's action is different, and the fan's action is different. The fridge is different, and the heater is different. We use it in a mixie, in a this, in a toaster, in a thing. In every, so the guna belongs to the equipment, not to the reality. Okay. Okay, now then over here, see also the ultimate reality is not time bound. So it it is called eternal and imperishable. Come to the last one. Dvavimau purushau loke ksharashchakshar eva cha kshara sarvani bhutani kutastho uchyate. Now here he says Dvavimau Purusho Loke. See, now the teacher, Gurudev used to say that even without washing his mouth, he has been all along saying that there is only one reality. ठीक है ना? And one Purusha. And he, Gurudev used to say, even without washing his mouth, here he comes out with that there are two Purushas. Very clearly he says Dvavimau Purusha Loke. Now, Dvavimau Purusho Loke, that means in the world, Lok is world. So, in the world, there are two Purushas. कैसे बोल रहे हैं? I'll read the translation. Two Purushas are there in this world, the perishable and the imperishable. All beings are the perishable, and the Kutastha is called the imperishable. Now, अभी अगर दो हैं तो पोलराइजेशन हो गया या नहीं, वैरायटी हो गई या नहीं. इवन इफ देयर आर टू, Gurudev gave a very good example that you are an iceberg floating in the water. सोचो ध्यान से. Seemingly two, but what is iceberg? Water. You look different, your shape is different, you can be touched and felt and you are tangible, you have a name and a form, नाम रूप है, पर आप हो क्या? You are nothing but water. And both these, the iceberg as well as the water, are changing every second. Everything is changing every second. It is the Einsteinian world of change. Everything in this world changes. And this exactly is what the Hindu philosophy or Hindu textbooks have been saying all along. That you and what you are made of is the same thing. Look at this example, the iceberg floating in the water. They absolutely look different. So they look two, but they are one. Okay. Now, the two Purushas, this just talking at an intellectual level of perception for you and me, कि एक perishable है, एक imperishable है. Iceberg is perishable, again coming the same example. Iceberg is perishable, water is not. When the iceberg perishes, what does it become? Water. So the two Purushas, the perishable and the imperishable, understood? I give you another example of the dream. I am giving you an example of the dream. All things that you see and feel are actually different forms of the same consciousness. Same consciousness. Again, is the dreamer and the dream different? For speaking, there are two words, dreamer, dream. Okay? In the dream, there's immense variety. You see a man in the prison, okay? There is the prisoner, the prison cell, the prison bars, the prison keeper, the policeman, the this, the that, whatever. But isn't it the same as the dreamer? The dreamer and the dream, the iceberg and the water, same thing. Same thing. Just think about it. This is a very interesting, very great. Now, see, even Einstein's theory of relativity, in which he talks of energy, matter, and energy. He has himself, he's a great scientist, and so it's not my great theory. He has said that matter and energy are interchangeable and they are the same thing in different forms, but they are the same. है ना? And so again, the same thing of water and iceberg. Acha, scientists, astrophysicists also, they're saying the same thing today, that anything that you can see or feel or taste or smell or whatever way you say, the entire world that you can see or science can explore, 95% is invisible. Batao ab. It's not me talking, right? Okay. These are these big scientists, astrophysicists, physicists, and all these. They say that 95% of what actually is invisible. So, what is science researching on? The 5%. That also is the same as the invisible part. It is the same as the invisible part. It is massive, it is massive, it is massive. It is so big, it is so huge, this whole concept, And Harvard is doing research on now what they call as dark matter. They call it dark matter because they have no other name for it. They do not know what it is. So when they say that they do not know what it is, they call it dark matter. So they are doing research on that. क्योंकि उन्हें पता ही नहीं है. And that is huge. That is huge. And that creates so much of action in the universe. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the Milky Way, because all these people who are born and brought up in cities, there is so much of light that they have never seen it. I have seen it in a village where there was no electricity anywhere, pitch dark. So, on a pitch dark night, you see the entire Milky Way across the sky, and millions and trillions of stars and planets all clouded, you can see around. It's like a mist floating of stars and planets. So, what is it? And what are we? And what is our planet? What is our globe? What is our little country? What is our little town? And what is our little you and me? Gurudev used to call us a miserable speck of microcosmic dust that came from somewhere and will be blown off like that. What are we talking about? So please understand that the realm of matter is called the perishable, which is the word used here is kshara. Kshara means that which can be destroyed, that which destroys itself, like the iceberg. Again, coming to that example, that is kshara, it destroys itself. And akshara, akshara is that which is permanent, which always will be there. So, देखो, the thing is that all kshara is changeable, but it is nothing else but akshara only, because even when it changes, it does not completely destroy itself. It becomes the same from where it came. That is why in our language, the syllable is called akshara. The alphabets are called akshara because sound cannot be destroyed. We believe that sound cannot be destroyed. नाद. इसीलिए हम लोग के यहाँ ये tradition है that nothing unpleasant should ever be spoken, because sound will not destroy itself. It goes and finds a mark somewhere, unless the end of sound is the mark that it travels to. So nothing unpleasant should be spoken ever. So, acha. So then here, now see, kshara is seemingly different from akshara. This word I'm using, as though it is different. It looks as though it is different. Again, think of the ice and the iceberg. And it's a very good example Gurudev gave. So think of the ice and the iceberg, seemingly different, but not different. The dream and the dreamer, seemingly different, but not different. ठीक है ना? So with reference to the perishable and the changing matter envelopes, you can say that this is a Purusha, that changing Purusha, Kshara, and with reference to the main, it is the Akshara. Gurudev used to give another example of a flag post and the flag flying. ठीक है ना? Now the flag is the Kshara. It is fluttering in the breeze. And the further you go in the cloth, the last tip of it is flutters most. Nearer the flag post, which is the Akshara, there is no change. There is no flutter. So no flutter there and maximum flutter away. So the nearer you go to the Akshara, you become calm, peaceful, unagitated. And the further you go from the Akshara, you will be all excited, irritable, fluttering. And that is that. Now, Kutastha. He uses the word Kutastha. So he says, what is it? Kutastokshara uchyate. So I am the Kutastha Akshara. Kutastha is that anvil on which the blacksmith hammers and pounds. हाँ? पर वो जो है वो हिलता नहीं है. It doesn't change. That is called Kutastha. So he says that he is like the Kutastha, which is always there, which supports, which is like the substratum, which will always be there. But everything else that is beaten over there changes. Like gold, the goldsmith is beating the gold, then heating the gold to make it liquid, making wires out of it, or making a bangle out of it, or making an ear top, nose ring, necklace, or whatever out of it. Basically, it is gold. The substratum is only gold for everything at all over there. So all the changes take place in contact with the changeless. It's a very interesting statement. All changes take place in contact with the changeless. The changeless is the one that causes the change, but in fact, it is changeless itself. So you, the one who watches the change, is also changeless. ठीक है ना? And so remember this whole thing about change. Now, distinct from these two, perishable and the imperishable, untainted by the imperfections of these two relative conditions, is the highest spirit. This we will do next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.